You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7 and 106 FM.
Seven minutes after 9 o'clock. Dumelang, welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Clement Manyathela Show. It's great to have you with us here on 702. I trust and hope you're good this morning. The 702 open line starts now on 011-883-0702. The WhatsApp line is 072-702-1702. Did American soldiers kill over 160 young girls in Iran? Well, evidence seems to suggest so. Remember that strike that happened on an elementary school about a week ago? That's killed scores of children. It actually remains the deadliest incident of civilian casualties. Initially, the suggestion was that Israel did it. 165 young innocent girls gone, killed. And now it appears the country that has consistently claimed it doesn't target civilians in conflicts or wars may be responsible. I mean, there wasn't a lot of surprise when it was suggested that Israel is behind this attack on this girls' school. It wasn't surprising because, it wouldn't be the first time Israel kills children during war. They did so in Gaza in their thousands. Thousands of children were killed, according to aid organizations on the ground. So if this was Israel that did it, sure, it's tragic, but certainly not surprising. That's why the world has swiftly moved on as if nothing really happened. It's almost like everybody was okay with the suggestion that, Israel may have done it. But there will be outrage now if it's America that was responsible. CNN is reporting that it has sufficient evidence that the attack on the Iranian girls' school was carried out by the U.S. military. Reuters is also reporting that a U.S. investigation points to the U.S. responsibility on that strike on the girls' elementary school. Listen to what, in fact, the various officials in the Trump administration said about this attack on this girls' school. And you will hear Trump, you'll then hear Caroline Leavitt, the spokesperson, and then you'll hear Pete Hegseth, who is the Secretary of War in the U.S.
There's a footage that shows that an American missile strike and a Tomahawk missile likely destroyed that Iranian girls' school. So will the U.S. accept any responsibility for that strike?
And I will say that the Tomahawk, which is one of the most powerful weapons around, is used by, is sold and used by other countries, that. And whether it's Iran, who also has some Tomahawks, I wish they had more, but whether it's Iran or somebody else, the fact that a Tomahawk is very generic, it's sold to other countries, but that's being investigated right now.
Did the United States airstrike a girls' elementary school and kill 175 people?
Not that we know of, Sean, and the Department of War is investigating this matter, and I would just tell you very strongly, the United States of America does not target civilians, unlike the rogue Iranian regime that targets civilians, that kills children, that has killed thousands of their own people in the past several weeks, and uses propaganda quite effectively, and unfortunately many people in this room have fallen for that propaganda.
Can you give us an update on what the administration knows, what you know now about the reported strike on a girls' school in southern Iran on Saturday?
All I can say is that we're investigating that. We, of course, never target civilian targets, but we're taking a look and investigating that.
So all these officials are still investigating. They're saying that we're still looking into it. The reason they're looking into it is because they see that there's a possibility the U.S. may have been involved. But these are children we're talking about. If you have no heart for innocent children, I worry. What defines us as humans? Doesn't matter how much you hate the Ayatollah or the regime or administration in Iran, or even in Israel. It doesn't matter that you may hate Benjamin Netanyahu, when there are children that are being killed like that, and you want to find justifications for it? What kind of a human are you? How do you justify a 3-year-old being killed like that, and you want to try and justify that? Because that's an innocent child. The US always says its military does not target civilians. And that's primarily because it is strictly prohibited by international humanitarian law. Well, who cares about laws now? Even customary law, which considers such acts to be war crimes. But also the US policy mandates taking precautions to minimize civilian harm. And now we're sitting with 165 odd young innocent women, girls that are gone, killed, taken out, just like that. And the US is likely responsible. What are your thoughts on that? You can give us a call. And then I want us to help each other connect the dots. Listening to the testimony yesterday of Northwest businessman Suleiman Karim mentioning Morgan Hangwani Maumela, I couldn't help but wonder, given what we know so far about this man, Morgan Hangwani Maumela, the allegations that have been mounting against him, how could it be that he is not arrested to this point? Or hasn't even been called to appear before the commission or the ad hoc committee? Because there's a web here, and Clement Manyathela at least at this stage, is seen to be at the top of this web, and then the benefits have trickled down, not only to senior officers, but also some business people that Clement Manyathela has relationships with. Suleiman Karim is one of them. And now for the first time ever, there is evidence of a transactional relationship between Hangwani Maumela and Clement Manyathela. This is for the first time ever officially on the record at the Madlanga Commission. He will now have to be called to the commission. It wouldn't make sense that the commission doesn't call this man to come and account. But is he even in the country? He's probably likely to put up a fight. But these loans that Suleiman was talking about, very fluid and unexplained, very weird. And he wants us to believe that he was just being used as a middleman to pay Maumela. Let's help each other connect the dots here. What's going on? What is so powerful about this man that we don't even know if the authorities have called him to tell him that you're being investigated, or all we know is they went to his house and they confiscated millions and millions worth of vehicles. But nobody even has a recent picture of him. Where does he live? And maybe that speaks to the power that's concentrated around this man. Maybe he's linked to really powerful people that are making sure that he gets protected. But who could those people be? I don't know. I'm just saying, let's help each other connect the dots.
Clement Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Good morning, Clement. Morning 702. I think this is very disheartening for the killing of children. Come on, children are innocent. They are not part of the war. That's what has been happening. It's been happening in Israel, in Palestine. They use children as target practice and then blame Hamas. Now we have a problem. They are doing it. United States just joined the queue. It's disheartening. And it can be anybody's kid.
Good morning, Clement. One of the statements that has come up from the IRGC a couple of days ago actually admitted that it is one of their missiles that actually failed upon launch. And who in their right mind would build a girls' elementary school 500 meters from missile launching sites? Are they crazy in their heads? It shows that they don't really care about their citizens. You would never do such a thing in a normal society. Anyway, and secondly, there, Ayatollah Khomeini, have you read his manual that he wrote about how to run their society, that it's okay to marry off 9-year-old girls. So they don't care a darn about their young girls and their young women.
Good morning, Clement. This is Sim. I'm actually, I don't know what to say. I'm actually very shocked that you and there's other people who believe that USA does not target civilians during its invasions. Have you forgotten what they've done in Iraq? I mean, there's massive evidence in Afghanistan. Go and read about an article called the Ruthless Presidency of Barack Obama, where it mentions that during his presidency, in the countries where USA was busy killing people, they actually were targeting men and boys of military going age. So this thing that USA does not target civilians is a fallacy. They do. That's how they operate. They call those collateral damages. Like, there's massive evidence. This is not only an Israel issue. USA does that too.
Yeah, I think you missed the sarcasm there earlier, my friend. I didn't say the US doesn't target civilians. I said a country that always claims it doesn't target civilians. And I was being sarcastic because, of course, we have seen the kind of disaster that the US's intervention, military intervention in several countries has left. And there are civilians that have been targeted there. There's another voice note that came. Yeah, but the Ayatollah didn't care about the girls. Okay, sure. So these poor little humans who are so unfortunate to be born in a country whose leader doesn't care about them are here. So let's just take them out. Let's kill them. Really? Is that the solution? By the way, if it was even the Ayatollah that ordered the killing, or it was Iran, that would still be enough for you and I to be outraged. I don't care much about who's responsible here. I care about civilian lives. Mostly so. Young children are dead. 165 odd. Gone. Killed. How could you justify that? And I think you probably need to reflect. If your heart doesn't move when you hear that children are dying, whether they're dying in Gaza and being killed and they are innocent, but they are targeted by these airstrikes, or they are being killed in Israel, or they are being killed in Iraq, in Iran, if that doesn't concern you and you still want to come up with all sorts of justifications, my goodness, what are we becoming? What are we willing to justify? It's quite scary where we're going as a world, as a society, just because we've got blind loyalty and we don't understand that two things can exist at the same time. You can support America, but still be outraged at the possibility that they are responsible. You can support Israel and still be outraged that there are young kids that are being killed at the hands of that regime. Oh, wait, we don't call it a regime. You must call it a government or an administration. It's 22 after 9.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
On 702.
Okay, let's try connect the dots. There's something happening that you and I, as citizens of this country, need to be concerned about. There is a man who seems to be so powerful that even investigative reporters who are so brilliant in this country are unable to get to him or even get to his most recent movements. And I don't think that speaks to the failure of the investigative journalist. I think it speaks to the power of the man that we're talking about. Morgan Hangwani Maumela. Who is this man? We know he lives quite a fleshy lifestyle. What do we know about him? Maybe that's where we should begin. The SIU have attached his assets. He is alleged to be part of a syndicate that looted about 2 billion rand from the Tembisa hospital. I mean, did you see those Lamborghinis? That's the man we're talking about. What else do we know about this man? Well, we know that he is linked to people like Ket Matlala. And you'll find out now as I play you some clips. And please just bear with me because I want to set this up and I want you to also help me. I don't have the answers. I'm saying as a society, as a community, as the 702 family, let's try and connect the dots. What is it about this man that is so difficult to pin? I would have thought the evidence of the SIU is so overwhelming. I would have thought the text messages we have seen that link him to Ket Matlala and the payments Ket Matlala was making to him, we now have evidence of that and someone who's made those payments as quote unquote the middleman. I would have thought that by now this man is either arrested or at the very least there's an investigation that is advanced around him, or he's already been called to come and testify at the ad hoc committee or the State Capture Commission. Is he even in the country? Maybe that's what makes it complicated. Can anybody even get a hold of him? Let's begin with the legal counsel for Suleiman Karim yesterday. They seemed to have issues with Karim taking questions about Morgan Hangwani Maumela. In fact, let's listen to what the legal counsel said yesterday at the Madlanga Commission.
The incorrect statement that Mr. Maumela is referred to in the 10-6 notice. If you look at the 10-6 notice, you will see, and I think this is the notice given on 5 December 2025. There have been several notices. This is the last notice that we have on record. 5 December 2025, there is no mention of Mr. Maumela there. People such as Mr. Brown, Mahotsi, etc. are referred to. No mention of Mr. Maumela. There is a reference to Mr. Maumela in the summons, but the summons requires that to be dealt with here and not in the statement. The 10-6 notice pertains to what should be in the statement, and there was nothing relating to Mr. Maumela. But all of that is also, by the way, the Commission knew and had these documents and knew it was going to rely on it. It shouldn't play a cat and mouse game to say, we'll wait and see what you say, and then we'll produce what we have. This is not an adversarial proceeding. It's not an attempt to try and ambush and catch witnesses out. We all know the purpose is fact-finding, and in the spirit of acting in a manner which is transparent and fair, those documents could all have been put up and should have been put up.
So, that's them trying to move around the mention of Hangwani Maumela. Why would the lawyers try to avoid this man being mentioned at the commission? Oh wait, the minute Hangwani Maumela gets mentioned officially at the commission, that would mean the commission would have to call him. So it makes sense. Makes sense why there's always been an attempt to try and avoid this man being mentioned at these commissions, because that would mean he has to come. Well, the horse has bolted. He's been mentioned and he has to come. And what's even worse is that the commission may even recommend that he be investigated for fraud and corruption. Why? Because as you can hear now, Suleiman Karim sent him monies that were coming from Ket Matlala, which could be proceeds of crime, which would make Morgan Maumela culpable.
When you said Morgan sorted, you were referring to a payment of 500,000 rands for the benefit of Mr. Maumela.
That's right.
And that payment was to Lutaga Trading Enterprise.
That's right.
Who asked you to pay Mr. Maumela?
Mr. Matlala.
And who asked you to pay Mr. Maumela through Lutaga Trading Enterprise?
Mr. Maumela.
Mr. Maumela asked you to pay Lutaga Trading Enterprise?
Yes.
When did you speak to Mr. Maumela to receive that instruction?
It was before we got that payment. He'd already been talking to me, saying that he has spoken to Mr. Matlala, and that he asked Mr. Matlala that Mr. Matlala needs to pay him his money, and Mr. Matlala said to him he's busy talking to me.
And so, when were these conversations that you had with Mr. Maumela?
So, sometime just before the payments, Feb. Just a few days before the payment.
And he said to you, Mr. Matlala owes me money.
Mr. Matlala approached me and said, look, I need you to pay Mr. Maumela. He wanted me to pay him a big amount, and I said, how do I pay him half of this money? It just doesn't make sense. I mean, you're not paying me, but now you want me to pay 750 of this money. He says, no, Mr. Maumela needs the money. Can you do this? I said, look, I can't do 750. And I then agreed to do 500 because we knew that there were more invoices coming, or he knew, I should say. Let me rephrase it. Mr. Matlala said to me there's more invoices that are still owed to him, and then he will then top me up on the next payment. But in total, he wanted me to give Mr. Maumela 750,000.
And he ended up giving Mr. Maumela about 500,000 rand because he said, I couldn't give him the 750,000 rand. There's a possibility that 500,000 rand that flowed, in fact, there was over 1 million that was paid to Salim. Was it 2.5 or 1 point something million? That was paid to Suleiman Karim. He takes some of that money and he sends it to Morgan Hangwani Maumela. And Mr. Karim, who testified yesterday, wants us to believe that no, Ket Matlala said he owes Maumela money. So he asked me to take some of the money he sent me to give to Maumela. They probably think we're children. Like, we're not smart enough to see what is happening here. At the time, it's possible that, remember, before the SAPS tender was cancelled, about 50 million, there was some millions that were sent to Medicare 24, Ket Matlala's company. And then money starts moving around. So the question you and I have to ask is, if, let's say, Ket Matlala was paying Hangwani Maumela what belongs to him because he may have assisted maybe with this SAPS contract, how did he assist? Who does Hangwani Maumela know who is so powerful to probably have influenced a tender in favor of Ket Matlala's company? There are a few clips I want to play to you that will probably help us understand why this man is so powerful and why he's being protected. We'll do that after the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. It's 9:31.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
23 minutes before 10 o'clock. We're trying to connect the dots around Morgan Hangwani Maumela. By the way, I see at the Madlanga Commission now, the lawyers for Suleiman Karim, who has basically now revealed that there is a possibility that he may have sent proceeds of crime that moved from Ket Matlala. He was a conduit that sent that money to Hangwani Maumela because Matlala told him that he owes Hangwani money. His lawyers are now arguing this morning at the Madlanga Commission for another postponement. Why? I mean, this man has tried so many tricks to avoid appearing before the commission, and I think now we understand why. Now they're trying to stop his appearance. Once again, they are trying to ask for a postponement. On what basis? We're trying to make sense of Hangwani Maumela. Who is he? Who's protecting him? Because it's just not making sense. It is just not making sense that he is still not, his recent pictures are not splashed around in the papers. Where is he? Is he even in the country? The lawyers are now saying, representing Suleiman Karim, that they didn't have enough time with some of the documents that were presented by the commission. Remember, they were arguing earlier, that clip I played you around Hangwani Maumela. They were trying to argue that you didn't really give us this information about this man, and now he's going to be mentioned here. It's a little too late now. We know what's happened. The commission is even considering recommending that Hangwani Maumela, together with Suleiman Karim and Ket Matlala, be investigated for fraud and corruption and money laundering. Now, listen, remember I told you earlier, 500,000 moved from Ket through Suleiman Karim to Maumela. And then there was another 250,000 rand. So in total, 750,000 rand moved from Ket to Maumela. But that's not the only time that this Suleiman Karim had business relationships with Hangwani Maumela. There are other millions that have exchanged hands. Listen to this.
Why did Ziggy pay Lutaga 42,427,000 over the period December 2023 to November 2024?
Can I elaborate on that, Council? Can I elaborate?
Can you?
Elaborate, can I?
Please do.
Like I said, I met Mr. Maumela in 2022. We did a lot of work on my house together. We became friendly. Mr. Maumela was a gentleman. He was very helpful. Subsequent to that, we became friends. In about 2023, I was discussing a business idea with him going into a mining project. Into a wash plant and a crusher plant with a mine. That was the idea that I had, which I shared with him. Mr. Maumela was quite keen on investing with me, and I said to him, okay, it's fine. If it makes sense and you feel it's good for you, we can go ahead and do this transaction. I then presented a business proposal to him. We then agreed we'll call this vehicle Chrome Core. So the vehicle was going to be called Chrome Core, and one of my entities would own 50% of it, and one of his entities would own 50% of the vehicle. We needed to raise money because obviously mining is quite cash intensive and it needs a lot of cash to operate. We then agreed we'd both each raise 50 million and 5 million capital. We agreed on that. Mr. Maumela then said to me, I said to him, look, I will raise my part, you go and raise your part. I then asked him, because he was taking a bit of time and I wanted to move with the project because this was my idea. He then said to me, he's going to sell an asset. Once he sells the asset, he'd be able to fund the project.
Yeah, and I want to speed it up because he's speaking so slow there. So, and then Hangwani Maumela sold his assets, and then he sent him about 40 million rand or thereabout, or 50. And then for this business venture. And then Morgan came back to him. So here's what's interesting. Suleiman Karim then sends how much to Morgan? Karim then sends about 40 million or so, or 56 million. Sends 56 million to Morgan Hangwani Maumela. Now the commission wants to know, what was this money about? This now is his explanation. That no. This man had sent me some 40 million or so for this business venture, but now he was in trouble and he needed some money, and he came back to me and said, please send me back that money. Yeah. So apparently that's why Karim had now sent this 56 million to Hangwani, because Hangwani said, I don't know, I'm broke, or there's something happening with my assets. I need some money. I need cash now. That's how the money then moved from Karim to Hangwani Maumela. Now, who is Hangwani Maumela associated with? Do you remember when we spoke to Serge Kabonge on the show? He came here to talk to us. Serge Kabonge, if you don't know, is I suppose a businessman. Do you want to call him that? In Sandton. He's mostly known in and around Gauteng. He is quite close to Shadrach Sibia. Stay with me. Serge Kabonge said on the radio on this show that he is close friends with Shadrach Sibia. Who is Shadrach Sibia? He's the Deputy National Police Commissioner who is now suspended and is appearing between ad hoc and the Madlanga Commission for his alleged relationship with Ket Matlala. What did Serge Kabonge tell us on the show about Morgan Maumela? This is what he said when he was on this show. Have you tried to speak to her because you said you guys are close friends?
Look, I did not try to talk to her. She tried to call me on July. I didn't want to answer a call because I don't want to socialize myself around Tebogo.
But at the time, she had not made the claim that you
No, we were
involved.
talking, we were okay.
So why did you avoid her calls?
No, I did not avoid her call. We were talking every day. The things that make me to stop talking to her because she want to control me who I'm talking to.
What do you mean?
Yeah, she's telling me that I must not talk to Kate, I must not talk to Morgan, and then I must not talk to few people. I don't see a reason why. And then I'm talking to them on the business direction.
So,
I'm not talking to them to anything that is out of business.
So, he's talking to Kat, he's talking to Morgan, based on business arrangements and nothing outside of business, which means Serge Kabonge does business with Morgan, Hangwani Maumela, and Ket Matlala. Morgan and Ket do business together. Ket is linked to Shadrach Sibia. Serge Kabonge, who is doing business with these two guys, is close friends with Shadrach Sibia. Okay. That sounds interesting. Serge Kabonge was the last person to see the ex-girlfriend of Ket Matlala. Remember, Ket Matlala is in jail now for the attempted murder of his ex-girlfriend, Tebogo Tobejane. Who was Tebogo Tobejane with on the night there was an attempt on her in her life? With Serge Kabonge. She believes, Tebogo, this is not me, Tebogo Tobejane believes that Serge Kabonge, this businessman who's close to Morgan and Ket, and Ket, is the one who told Ket where she was, which then resulted in Ket then approving that, go, take a hit on this woman. This is the version of Tebogo Tobejane. So Serge Kabonge, when he came here, he wanted to defend himself, to say, no, I'm not involved in the attempted murder of this woman, but this woman also wanted me to stop talking to Morgan and Ket, and I couldn't because these are people I do business with. Now, enter President Cyril Ramaphosa. What did he tell us about Morgan Hangwani Maumela?
I go on my walks. Now, in 2024, so it should be known, because Mr. Magwenya only focused on this photograph. In 2024, I am walking on that same street, and a person comes out of this house and he greets me. And as I often meet people, I ask them, who are you? He says, I am Hangwani Maumela. And that's how he introduces himself to me. And I say, so you are the Maumela who is putting my name into disrepute. And he smiles away. And now I've encountered this person, and I walk away. And I walk to my home. And then in 2024, on the 26th of December, I am walking with my daughter, who loves walking too, on the same street. And there this young man comes out and he says, hello, Ramaphosa, my mother is here. Can you say hello to her? And I say, who is she? He says, it's Hangwani Maumela. Now, when I was at school in Papuli High School with my then wife, Hope Mudau, her brother was also there. And later I got to know that this Mboneni and this my wife's brother, my former wife's brother, they hooked up, and as they hooked up, they had a child. And this is now Hangwani Maumela, whom I did not know. But I know his mother because we were at school together. So he says, my mother is here. Can you say hello to her? And she is coming out of the yard towards the main gate. And then she's wearing a gown, a morning gown. And I immediately say, I can't allow her to come into the street with a morning gown. And I go towards the gate and I greet her and I say, how are you? How have you been? That's the sum total of it all.
Okay, that's the sum total of it all. So if you have seen Morgan's house, did you see how high those walls are? Like, it's really high walls. You can't see what's happening inside and you can't see what's happening outside. In fact, people who live in neighborhoods like that don't usually just open the gate to get what? Trying to get fresh air into the yard? People who live in areas like that don't just open the gate to see, oh, who's passing there? I wonder. So how did they see the president walk? And then the guy comes out, hey, I'm Hangwani Maumela, introduces himself like that. And then the next time, somehow maybe Morgan now had mustered the times the president takes walks, because the second time, mom is ready in a gown to meet the president. I am not suggesting here that the president is related to this man. I think it's very clear that it's the president's former wife whose brother had a child with this woman and then they gave birth to Hangwani Maumela. The story just doesn't make sense to me. And I'm bringing all of these clips and stories because I'm trying to figure out what could be going on here. Why is this man so powerful that he's still not arrested? Why is he so powerful that we can't get confirmation that there's an investigation that is advanced around him? Why is he so powerful that even people who appear at the commission are so scared to want to get into details about him, and they try every single trick to try and postpone their hearings or to even do their testimonies in camera? And I suspect that's because they were going to have to mention this man, because the commission has evidence and WhatsApp messages that shows the conversation about Morgan and the monies that has flown from him to him from Clement Manyathela. This man has been accused of being part of a syndicate that stole 2 billion rand from Tembisa Hospital. And now we see that he may have received proceeds of crime from Clement Manyathela. And he's still roaming the streets free. Now you tell me how that makes sense. After the break, I'm going to go to your calls and your WhatsApps. It's 8 minutes before 10.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
On 702.
5 minutes before 10.
Morning, Madi Meja, Mwagwe and Joburg. Madi Meja, on the issue of Morgan, I think you are right. Morgan is being protected. He is being protected, and we don't know who's protecting him. And the person who's protecting him is very powerful. He makes sure that they can't touch that Morgan guy. And you're right. Probably maybe he's skipped the country. He's nowhere to be found. They should have arrested him long time ago, because they confiscated those super powerful cars, and then they leave him. Most those things are proceeds of crime. He committed crime, so he must be arrested. Nah, man, we can't go on like this as a country. And the justice system, I don't understand. So the SIU doesn't have power to arrest. The SIU doesn't have power to arrest Madimeja. Nah, man, we can't go on like this. Have a great one. Mwagwe and Joburg.
Good morning, Clement. It sounds like you are really amazing in connecting the dots. Good work. Wow. Thanks for a lovely show. Bye.
Morning, Clement. Is Veronica from Springview. You know, I think we must not stop talking about Maumela until he comes out, wherever he's hiding. I phoned Africa 2 weeks ago on 702 morning breakfast show, asking about Maumela. He tried to see if maybe he would find anything, and then he said he'll come back later if he picks up where he is. He hasn't come back. Obviously, like you said, he's hiding. Maybe he's hiding, but we must talk about him on 702 every day until he comes out wherever he is. We cannot. He destroyed Tembisa Hospital. There's nothing left in Tembisa Hospital. And he's still enjoying his life. I'm very, very livid about this. Thank you. Bye-bye.
What also hurts me deeply is the fact that there is a whistleblower here that was killed. Babita Deokaran was killed, murdered, because she was exposing the rot of corruption. The very same matter through which the SIU was able to confiscate these assets of Hangwani Maumela, Babita Deokaran had already told us, had already flagged these transactions. Debogo Tobejani, who is the ex-girlfriend of Ket Matlala, seems to believe that Ket Matlala was somehow involved in the murder of Babita Deokaran. I read that was it in the Sunday World or in the Sunday papers though, sometime last year. That's what she wanted to tell the police, or she's already told the police in a statement. Could it be that we are dealing here, and I don't know, and maybe the police are still investigating, could it be that we're dealing with people that have also taken out Babita Deokaran? In fact, I was having a conversation with someone yesterday about how is it that we don't even have documentaries, like a short docu-series, an investigative series about this man? I mean, News 24 has done an incredible job at trying to connect those dots, but I think there's space and opportunity to still do a lot of work around this man, and maybe investigations are still continuing. And this person said to me yesterday that apparently the guy is quite dangerous. So some people probably are scared to really report about him, to investigate him, but we can't live in a country like that where we are held hostage and we are unable to ask these critical questions because, oh my God, I'm scared for our safety. Something is up here. And I hope our law enforcement officers can get to the bottom of it.
Nah, man. This Hangwani Maumela guy, I think he's the boss of all these guys here. Our Ket Matlala and our Suleiman Karim, they're just runners, man. No. Arnold in Port Glen.
Good morning, Clement. When it comes to Hangwani Maumela, all I can say is you need to be very careful. He's one of the most powerful people in this country, and trust me, there's a reason why people are not arresting him or nothing's happening there. So, yeah, there's a whole underworld that most of society is not aware of. And I mean, these guys, they really control a lot of things in the background. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that nothing's happening. Anonymous from Centurion.